There was a woman named Catherine. She was a single mother, not by choice, but by fate. Her husband passed away when their only son Joe was just 5 years old. Since that day, her life became a battle, not for herself, but for her son. Catherine worked early mornings in a local bakery and cleaned houses in the evenings. Without complaining, without rest, without tears. Every drop of sweat that fell from her forehead was a silent promise. My son will have a better future. She skipped meals to make sure Joe never slept hungry. When she was sick, she smiled and hid her pain, so he wouldn't worry. She stitched old clothes to look like new ones for him on Christmas and birthdays. She wasn't just a mother. She was a warrior, a shield, a shelter, and pure love in human form. Little Joe loved her deeply. He hugged her every day and promised, "Mama, one day I will buy you a big house." But life moved forward. Years passed, and the world slowly changed Joe. When he reached college, he started feeling embarrassed by his mother's simple job. He didn't want his rich friends to know that he lived in a small rented home, and that his mother cleaned other people's houses to pay his fees. One day while walking home from college with his friends, they saw Sarah standing nearby with a lunchbox in her hand. She had come to give him food because she knew he left home in a hurry without eating. She called out with a smile, "Joe, you forgot your lunch." But Joe's face turned pale. His friends looked at her clothes, at her tired hands, and laughed silently. Embarrassed, Joe shouted, "Why do you keep following me? I told you not to come here." Catherine froze. Her smile disappeared instantly. Her heart cracked, but she held the lunchbox tightly in shaking hands. She whispered, "I'm sorry. I just didn't want you to stay hungry." His friends walked away. Joe didn't even look back. That night, Catherine cried silently. She didn't cry because of his words. She cried because she knew the world had changed her little boy. Catherine worked even harder. She didn't want Joe to feel small in front of anyone. She sacrificed her desires. She never bought clothes for herself. She never rested. She never asked for anything. Her only happiness was seeing Joe move closer to the life she could never have. She kept telling him, no matter how big you become, never forget who stood with you when you were small. But Joe left home emotionally. Even before he physically did, he got a good job in another city. He stopped calling regularly. Weeks would pass, and Sarah would stare at her silent phone, waiting for it to ring just once. One day, Joe called her after many weeks. "Mom, I'm getting married." Catherine's heart filled with joy. "Really? I can't wait to meet her," she said, with tears of happiness. But Joe replied coldly, "Mom, she belongs to a rich family. I haven't told her or her parents about your work. If they find out, they will not accept me." Joe went silent. Then he said something that stabbed her heart deeper than any knife ever could. "It's better if you don't come to the wedding. Jo's breath stopped. She felt like the ground beneath her vanished. She whisper asked, "So, you're ashamed of me?" Jo didn't answer. Silence was louder than words. The call ended. So did Catherine's world. Catherine attended the wedding, but from a distance. She stood outside the grand hall, wearing the only clean clothes she had. Through a glass window, she watched her son smiling with his new family. No one knew her. No one saw her. Not even the boy she raised with every heartbeat she had. She placed a small gift she had brought, a wristwatch she bought by selling her gold earrings. At the security desk, she requested, "Please give this to the groom with blessings from his mother." Then she walked away quietly, her footsteps slow, her heart heavy, her tears hidden from the world. Months passed. Jo was busy in his new life. His wife often asked, "Why don't we visit your mother?" But he always had excuses. Then one day, he received a call from a neighbor. "Jo, your mother collapsed outside her house. She is in the hospital. You must come immediately." Panic shook him. He rushed to see her. When he reached the hospital, he saw Catherine lying on a bed, weak, pale, struggling to breathe. She opened her eyes slowly, smiled faintly, and whispered, "You came, my son." Instead of blaming him, she held his hand with joy, as if all her suffering vanished just by seeing him. Doctors told Jo that Catherine had been working double shifts and skipping meals. Her body finally broke down. Jo realized something painful. Everything he had in life was bought by her sacrifices. Her hands that once carried him were now weak and shaking. He fell on his knees crying, "Mom, I am sorry I hurt you. I forgot everything you did for me." Catherine wiped his tears with trembling fingers. A mother never needs apologies. She only needs her children to hold her hand again. Jo took Catherine home with him. He introduced her to his wife's family with pride. "This is the woman who gave me everything. She is the reason I am standing in front of you today." His wife hugged Catherine and promised, "You are not alone anymore. This is your home." From that day, Jo changed. He respected his mother like a queen. He made sure she never shed a tear again. But deep inside, a wound remained. Jo often looked at his mother sitting happily with his children and thought, if I had respected her earlier, I could have saved her so many tears. The truth hit him harder every day. Respecting your mother later is good, but respecting her when she truly needs it is what makes you a real son. Every mom deserves respect, not only when she is sick, not only when she is old, but every day, from the moment she brings us into this world. A mother sacrifices her dreams so we can live ours. She hides her tears behind a smile. She gives up her happiness to build ours. But unfortunately, we realize her worth only when her hands become weak and her voice becomes faint. So if you are lucky, if your mother is still beside you, hold her hand, say thank you, show love, Give respect, because once she is gone, no amount of tears will bring back the woman who loved you more than herself.